No, not yet.
Letting people touch his
Go.
toes.
Hello, everybody. You know me. Okay, no, you don't, but you know who I am. I'm Issa J, and right next to me is.
Your Small Wrestling Alliance World Heavyweight Champion of Picking Things, Liam Landry.
And right next to him is.
Probably never going to be champion, but I get so close. TJ.
That's a very long moniker, but.
I
mean, if it sticks, it
I
sticks.
catch you. How do we put that on a shirt?
Well, we've been out for a couple weeks because of a lot of things going on.
That's right.
So, DJ, how was your couple weeks?
Yeah, not too bad. Sitting here, I guess. A lot of stuff in wrestling happened over the past couple weeks. Work, bowling. That's about it. Went out for Liam's birthday on Wednesday. His birthday was actually last Thursday. Got some good pizza from Rotolo's. Really good. Liam?
It's been fine. You know, I had a birthday. So, 1 year closer to the death. Yay. Had some good shows though. And Dominion, which we're going to watch right now while doing the podcast. And also, we had the Best of the Super Juniors final, which we'll talk about later. But, you know, nothing about that was beyond that, really. How about yourself?
Watch even more Survivor, trying to catch up, trying to get my girlfriend caught up to a certain point to where she's loving the show, which is cool. Watched Orange Cassidy, that was really cool, and just working a lot, making money. You know, the usual.
Yep.
And now.
Getting that bread?
Actually, we haven't gotten a lot of bread. It's mostly tacos. We gotta go. We should go get some bread though. But yeah, that's just my couple weeks.
Is that what the meme is in Mexico? Changes from bread to tortillas?
Yeah.
It should, if it isn't. He looks different with his facial hair.
Jay White.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gato. Alright, so we're gonna get distracted if we don't get right on topic. So let's get right on topic. It's the news outside of the WWE. Obviously, since we are watching Dominion, we're not going to be talking about Dominion. However, New Japan did have a show right before it, though, a few days ago, and we'll be talking about that one. It's the Best of the Super Juniors final. We're going to let you know who came out on top in that show. If you want to grab up the card, Liam, we can start going down it.
We're going up it. No, we're going to go down.
Okay.
Let's keep it traditional. So the first match of the night, 6-man tag. We had on one team Dragon Lee and Teton both from CMLL, and Shota Umino.
Umino, yeah.
Yeah. Shota Umino, Young Lion, versus a team of Bandito, Jonathan Gresham, and Ren Narita. I never actually questioned. I guess Bandito is more representing ROH. I know he does stuff in Mexico, but I don't think he does CMLL. I guess maybe now he does since he's with ROH, but I think they both representing ROH, and Ren, of course, was a last minute replacement as a Young Lion. It was a real good matchup here. It was. I'm trying to get this from memory because I'm just looking at this schedule, not the results, but I believe it was the team with Dragon Lee picking up the victory there. Good matchup there. Next, we had a very comical, funny matchup here. Nice, nice, lovely levity. Show, Yo, and with the Ryusuke Taguchi taking on from Bullet Club, the team of Robbie Eagle, Al Fantasma, and Taiji Ishimori. There was a lot of funny moments here. There was also some storytelling between El Phantasmo and Robbie Eagles. Eagles was kind of upset with El Phantasmo kind of stealing the spotlight through the match, and El Phantasmo even tagged himself in to steal the pin away from Robbie Eagles, who actually hit the finisher, to try to set that up. But yeah, so causing some tension between the two, but Bullet Club does come away with the victory here. Next, we had a matchup between Taguchi Japan plus Chaos versus Suzuki Gun. We had Tiger Mask, Jushin Thunder Liger, Yoshihashi, Toru Yano, and Tomohiro Ishii versus Doki, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Zack Sabre Jr., and Minoru Suzuki and Taichi. So this was setting up some matches for Dominion because we had Liger and Yoshihashi who were going to go up against Zack Sabre Jr. and Minoru Suzuki in a tag match, and of course Tomohiro Ishii and Taichi were going to go up on a singles match. Suzuki actually came out to Taichi's music this time around instead of Suzuki, so that was a big change. But Yoshihashi actually picked up the victory for his team. After that, we had the fourth match with had some more Taguchi Japan guys. We had Toa Hanara, Tamako Honma, Togi Makabe, and Kota Ibushi, which I would picture is mostly just going to be with Taguchi Japan since the Elite left, but
yeah, versus
Lij, represented by Bushi, Sanada, Evil, and Tetsuya Naito. It was Lij that got the victory here. After this, we had a matchup from Chaos, represented by Okada and Rocky Romero, versus Villain Enterprise, Marty Scurll, and Brody King. And this was won by Okada. He got the pinfall victory. You're definitely not going to see the champion taking the pinfall, Show us too much, but it was still a really good matchup here. Brody King looked really good in it. And next, we had Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Jay White. It was a really great match that had a lot of playing the limb of Tanahashi's arm until he eventually got some advantages by targeting Jay White's leg with the corkscrew dragon leg whip. Though eventually it did not pull away for him as Jay White got the victory on Hiroshi Tanahashi. It was mostly from the arm. Basically, he pulled on the arm and allowed him to do a roll up to get the victory. Because Tanahashi looked like he was about to win, but his arm gave out there. Then we had the match for the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship match. Well, for the Heavyweight Championship, Juice Robinson, the champion, taking on Jon Moxley. It was a really great, crazy match with both guys going as violent as possible, with Jon Moxley coming out on top, becoming the new IWGP US Heavyweight Champion. And then after that, we had a really incredible match for the Best of the Super Juniors final. We had Will Ospreay taking on Shingo Takagi, and like I said, it was a very incredible matchup with Will Ospreay taking the victory, meaning that he is going to face Dragon Lee at Dominion for the title.
Yeah, and sounds like it was a really good card. A lot of fun stuff going down. So, yeah, what is the next biggest thing outside of WWE so far?
I guess the next biggest thing we could talk about, because it's not really WWE related, more so the AEW going August 31st, right? Isn't it?
All Out?
Yeah.
Is that when it is?
I don't know off the top of my head.
I think it's sometime in August.
Google. When is All Out for AEW?
Well, while he's looking that up, we'll talk about there's like three. There's the rugby match, there's the UK takeover, and then there's also All Out, all in the same day, right?
And New Japan's also holding a event in London.
So there you go, all on the same day.
Yes, August 31st. You're correct.
August 31st. Okay, and I just can't. I can see WWE competing with this one because it's NXT. But if it was a main roster thing, WWE would have no shot. I still think AEW
It's
New Japan.
NXT UK.
Right. Right. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it is UK. I think that people will get represented there, but I don't know. I just the first of many, because WWE has so many pay-per-views, they're gonna have overlaps, and it's the first we're gonna see of how WWE is really gonna get impacted. I think they're gonna be the lowest rated of all the wrestling shows that day. What are y'all thoughts?
It could end up being that, because this has a problem with running the same time as New Japan.
Mm-hmm.
One of the bigger problems is going to be getting people in the door. They're probably going to have to sell tickets fairly cheap to try to make sure people get in there. Just because of the problem with the rugby match and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Since it will be a friendly for the World Cup coming up between, I believe it's Scotland and Wales.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, so two teams that are really big, countries that are real popular with rugby, especially Wales, I believe rugby is very popular there. And even for the last few weeks, the ticket prices, the hotel prices already were going to $150 a night for a nice hotel there. So it's going to be a struggle to try to get people into it.
Mm-hmm.
To actually get people into the city to stay there. So they're going to have to try to just go from inside the city itself. And of course, New Japan's already sold all their tickets. So it's going to have to come down to... They're going to have to try to, I believe, try to make it a little cheaper just to make sure that people can get in there. Because they're going to have to try to pull mostly from the local area. So...
Yeah. It's one of those things where, cause apparently they had a person who checked all the sites and stuff and saw that it wasn't sold as best as it could have been, but apparently they didn't take into consideration all the places they could purchase tickets, and because of that, they got their info wrong. And now, like you said, with the rugby match, and with New Japan that night, for us that morning, and then All Out after that in the evening, this might be a huge blow to WWE. Even though it is NXT, it's NXT UK that doesn't have the gravitas that the other American version of NXT has right now, because the way they started off, it was pretty rocky, and yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting to see how it's all going to play out.
Yeah, the thing that gets me is NXT UK is at night, right? So
for the UK.
For UK, it's at nighttime. So the thing that gets me is if you're going to all these events, or even if you're just watching them on TV, the wrestling events, you're going to be worn out. So, yeah, people might not go to it in person as much, but you're also going to, I think that the ratings are going to be down for watching it, just because everybody's going to be worn out from watching New Japan and AEW. I think...
Well, AEW would come after it.
The UK? Okay.
Yeah. And New Japan would come at the same time.
Yeah, so I think some people... Yeah, I just think more people are gonna watch New Japan and AEW because AEW was so good with Double or Nothing.
I think more people would probably also go with New Japan over NXT UK. Just kind of going with the fact that, like, from looking from the outside, of it, it doesn't necessarily seem as much of the high-end storylines as the regular NXT does. So it seems like getting the New Japan in would be a higher priority for people versus getting the NXT UK. Not to say that they don't have storylines, just you never hear things coming from it. Like, you hear people talking about how storylines are going, and when you can hear that type of stuff compared to New Japan, it all has to depend on that time. That's still a good amount away, but still, I would kind of believe that they will suffer somewhat from it.
And you have to feel for the talent in NXT right now, getting dealt this blow.
The UK. Well, the thing you had to have, if you wanted to join NXT UK, you had to have some idea this would happen, because 90% of your bosses are in the United States. So it's not like, I don't know, I'm pretty sure they have somebody from the UK running it, but it's just that's there all the time. But it's like Triple H is your NXT guy. He can't be in the UK all the time to help run this.
Well, the real problem is that they went and were trying to go after New Japan. It's not really just an accident. Everything seems to suggest that it is intentional, that they were trying to run at the same time, but that they were thinking they were going to do better than them.
And I can't see that happening. Anything else outside of WWE?
Yeah, one more.
Okay.
Well,
MLW had a show called Fusion. I'm just gonna recap it. And it's gonna be kind of a little bit surprising in who showed up. So we had Cotto Brazil versus Richard Holiday, and the winner was Richard Holiday by pinfall. Came down to a single leg missile drop kick and building up to miss him, and Holiday hits a stiff lariat and then a gut wrench powerbomb. Then after that we had Ace Austin versus Airwolf, and the winner at that match was Airwolf by pinfall. Austin had an enziguri, goes to the top rope, hits a Frankensteiner, and then Wolf blocks it and pushes him off. Flatliner from Wolf to Austin, and then 1, 2, 3. And then we had Davey Boy Smith Jr. versus MJF. MJF we know is all elite, and he's still being able to work with MLW. And Davey Boy Smith Jr. is one of their champions, I believe.
Yeah. If he's still tag team's champion.
Okay. And
he should be after they beat the Lucha Bros for it.
And then with the help of, looks like with the help of Teddy Hart, Davey Boy Smith Jr. gets the pinfall. And after running power slammed, so that's cool. And if you haven't seen any of the Hart Foundation, they look like they're other family members, which is crazy. Like, you see Brian Pillman and Brian Pillman Jr., the uncanny resemblance is ridiculous. And yeah, those are the three main matches, which sounds like a really good time of wrestling right there.
They also had the still developing story of ROH, where we had an instant at a show, or well, technically expand to back-to-back shows where they had a fan in there that was heckling at Allure, the female stable, and eventually things must have gotten too personal. One of the Allure members, Mandy Leon, I believe, is how you pronounce her name, ended up spitting on the guy, and then he ended up giving more insults. Eventually, he got taken to the back by security, and then apparently Bully Ray tried to tell him to, basically knock it off before sending him back out there. And it's of course caused a big incident. ROH just said they were going to investigate it.
Bully Ray. Bully Ray.
Bubba Ray.
Oh, Bubba Ray. Okay.
In the Indies, he's known as Bully Ray.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I heard about this story too. That's just ridiculous. If she spat on a guy, that's messed up.
Yeah, it seems like the focus kind of went away from that somehow. Like it doesn't seem like ROH is doing an investigation. Like the ROH just said they're doing an investigation on to the incident, but they also said they're doing an investigation for Bully Ray, not as much for Randy Leon. And it's like, that's definitely the person that should have been fired for that. But it also should be known that I believe she is the one who's dating Delirious, or is married to Delirious, either dating or married. And Delirious is the head booker at ROH. And Velvet Sky, another person that was in the incident, is of course dating Bully Ray. So why he ends up getting involved there, it's definitely unprofessional overall. And of course, the idea of spitting on someone is assault, so it's actually something that's legit illegal.
And then, it's a lot of craziness going on here, and we'll see. Was there any video? Did anybody end up capturing any of that on video?
I don't know if anyone ended up capturing it, but there's a lot of people unrelated to the guy who was around him that have gone on and said that they saw it and confirmed the story. Most of them are saying that it wasn't even really extraordinary what he said to him. I think one of the ones that's saying that the most is when he talked about, like Velvet Sky said that he was a virgin, and he said, at least I don't have to fuck that fat turd Bully Ray in there. Some people believe he crossed the line when making a masturbatory gesture, but at the same time, one of wrestling's most well-known gesture is the DX chop, which is literally the same concept.
And also one of the most popular sayings is "suck it," which you don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand what that means.
And to be fair, while it's not always used in that context, especially not now, John Cena's Five Knuckle Shuffle. Well, Five Knuckle Shuffle is, of course, a reference to masturbation as well. He, of course, doesn't use that in that connotation anymore, but clearly probably what he was going with at the beginning.
Yeah, so it's interesting about the double standards, and we'll see what happens. We'll keep up on that news, see if anything breaks down with ROH, really. What is some... that's it for that side of WWE. Let's go inside the belly of the beast. Let's talk about the news inside of the WWE. First one, main one I really want to talk about. We did not watch. However, we heard a lot. The worst match that almost basically ended careers, even though their career should have been ended a long time ago. Goldberg and Undertaker had a match at the Showdown in Saudi Arabia, Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. in that match, there was a tombstone attempt where Goldberg basically landed on his head. And then there was a jackhammer attempt where Undertaker landed right on his neck in a horrible, horrible way. And you could tell both men just, it affected them. And also, they shouldn't have been wrestling anyway because they don't have the spry movements they once had.
Now,
At the end of the match, though, Undertaker visibly upset and angry with how it all went down.
You seen the end sequence, right?
I didn't.
They attempted to go for a tombstone pile driver.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was supposed to be getting out of it, or if Undertaker legs just went out from under him. Because it would kind of start an arch back, which would be kind of like the counter rollback thing. But he just ends up falling down. He's just holding them, and they just basically fall back. And then they just get up, and Undertaker hits a choke slam to finish it off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard about that, yeah. And I heard that it wasn't even a good one. It wasn't even a good choke slam. And then, which leads to the very end, the next day, Bill Goldberg issued an apology for the match itself. That is a everything we just mentioned is a problem. And it's something I really want to talk about in the new segment. What do you guys think about these legends wrestling each other when they are completely past their prime? Especially someone who was never good in the ring to begin with, and someone we've been watching visibly decline ever since WrestleMania 30.
Are you talking about wrestling? No, I don't agree with that. When he fought John Cena 2 years ago at WrestleMania, I saw it live. Undertaker could move.
It was all that was.
It wasn't a long match.
It wasn't even a match. All it was just a stunt, a publicity show.
But it was still a match. I mean, he was moving around in the ring. I mean, a lot of people who are higher up than us were saying he was moving around the best he ever moved around.
I mean, if someone looks good 1 out of 5 times, that still says their career is probably over.
Right, and I understand that, but you don't know if they're good or bad until you get in the ring, right? I mean,
with that track record, especially with the fact that they could have clearly killed each other, that's not really something that you should be tolerating when it comes to that. That's the point when you have to put a hold on it, is when they become sloppy enough that they can potentially injure or kill people.
I granted, maybe they should have still had the match, but when you saw the match was going bad, the ref, like kind of what you're saying, the ref should have stopped it. I mean, it shouldn't have been the main event. I'll say that much. Wouldn't you agree, Lisa?
It was always going to be the main event because of the location they were in. It's a novelty show, so they wanted a novelty match. The problem is they got a novelty match with a lot of danger and stuff. Yeah. With Lesnar, we visibly saw the decline of Undertaker, but it was hidden well because more or less whatever Brock Lesnar's thoughts are, I think he still respects Undertaker, Mark Calloway, what he was able to do in the ring.
I mean, they've said before that they're friends.
Mm-hmm.
In real life.
Yeah. So obviously,
Mark Even's been to Brock Lesnar's MMA matches.
Okay. Yeah, and I think they had that little thing in the ring at in the crowd at one point. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. So Brock Lesnar was
gonna. It was Mark Calloway, Undertaker coming to Brock after a match, and people were saying that he said, "Are you ready to do this?" And people believe that's what he meant when saying, "Come back to finish the streak."
Mm-hmm.
It's unconfirmed, but it might have.
Okay.
And
Cool.
then, so he had a man who knows him really well and who would be able to carry the Undertaker. So we already have that. Cool. The next match, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it was
Triple H.
Was it Triple H or was
It's
it?
Shawn Michaels.
No,
was
it
the
was
guest referee.
It wasn't
Bray
Wyatt.
Wyatt.
Yeah, it
It
was
was
Oh,
Bray Wyatt.
that was stupid.
It was Bray Wyatt, and it was a bad match.
Yeah.
It was hard to watch, and Undertaker won, which made no sense. And I was like, okay, weird. 32, he had another match
Triple H.
with
No, it was
Shawn, Seth. Oh my gosh, best in the world, Shane McMahon.
Oh yeah, that was.
And it was just it was a nothing match, and no one was really into it.
Even the best in
Then-
the world couldn't change that thing around.
Exactly.
Right.
And then he had another match with the big dog, Roman Reigns. And that was a disaster. Everyone was picking up on just how bad The Undertaker was. And he couldn't move like he used to. He couldn't do all the things he used to. And
The Triple
that's a
H-
problem.
Yeah.
And what should have been his retirement wasn't. And yeah, now we're here today where we've had 4 matches. And out of those 4 matches with Undertaker, every single one has been just a pain and a chore to watch. Liam and I were making fun of one of those matches. That's a problem.
Mhm.
We don't want to make fun of The Undertaker. He's The Undertaker.
Yeah, but is he?
He is The Undertaker.
Not anymore. And he needs to realize that this is the problem with WWE. Get rid of your bad talent that can't wrestle anymore.
Not so
And-
much bad talent, but
No, not bad talent, but I'm
Let-
saying talent that's past their prime. People like even Brock Lesnar. I don't want Brock Lesnar anymore as champion. I don't want to see these wrestlers fight anymore. I want to see new people. But until you get rid of these people that either can't fight or have been in WWE too long to where we get tired of them, like Brock Lesnar, and you're gonna find stupid stuff like the Brock Party. You know, I'll keep going on I'll do something with my rant, but
To be fair, Brock Lesnar pretending that the briefcase is a boombox was probably the best thing that WWE's had in a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
that is true. I agree with that.
And it's funny. He made the briefcase actually look like a boombox with the
Yeah.
speakers and everything. And in the show at Super Showdown, apparently it just was the normal. It didn't have the speakers on it at all. And even when WWE strikes gold, they still can't keep it. But yeah, that next.
Yeah, because that was probably the most effort that Brock Lesnar's put in the storytelling since coming back.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree.
100%.
It's the only thing he's actually felt genuine or real from him.
And then,
What's
yeah,
next?
so we have the next piece of news. Wait, who was that?
The editor.
This past Saturday, no, not yesterday, but the Saturday before, we had a really big show. It was NXT TakeOver 25. We found out this last Thursday we found out what the star ratings were. The main event saw Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole, baby. And with a 5.25 star rating, the WWE
Is
have
it-
finally
Is it
broken the
Cole
system.
Bebe? Or just Cole Bebe?
I think it's Cole Bebe.
Oh, you think that he should do like a steakhouse that specializes in Kobe beef?
That'd be funny. But yeah, WWE's finally broken the star ratings. That's yes, admittedly it's NXT with much better storytelling roster, but that's still big news. Something Like they've been consistently getting 5 stars since Takeover New Orleans, and now it's really become a thing. Your thoughts on those two guys not only getting the 5-star but breaking the scales?
It's a, I guess it's a good moment for him.
Mm-hmm.
It's very big. Realistically, I wasn't super into it,
Mm-hmm.
mostly because I thought it just had a slow start, and the fact that they focused on the knee at the beginning didn't play into anything.
Mm-hmm.
Given the old Seth Rollins knee
Mm-hmm.
syndrome that I want to become like an actual thing in wrestling, the Seth Rollins knee. But overall, it was still a good match, and it's just good for them to have this opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Your thoughts on them breaking the star scale?
It's good for now, but it's only gonna help out NXT. It's not gonna help out the main roster because I feel bad. This is the best NXT's ever been, right? When Adam Cole and his Undisputed Era brothers move up, when everybody else moves up, what is NXT gonna? You see, the next generation of superstars for NXT, what's gonna happen? Because Triple H ain't gonna be there forever. You know Triple H is gonna maybe he'll take over both.
Triple H's show, basically.
It is, and I don't like that necessarily because the main roster suffers. I just hope that these two wrestlers can do the same thing in the main roster, but I know they're not going to. So I guess what I'm trying to say is just enjoy it while you're seeing good wrestling, because you won't see it too often on the main roster.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever you are, I don't care if you were the best NXT superstar of this generation or of this decade. They don't care on the main roster. Like Liam said a bunch of times, the main roster makes their own storylines. They don't even base off the storylines they were on in NXT. I think that would be a perfect transition if they did that, but that's just me. But I am glad they broke the star record for 5.2. I knew it was going to happen. It had to happen sooner or later because NXT is just that good.
But it's weird to think that they already had a takeover event in the Tokyo Dome. Because I have heard that's the only place where that happened. So
Breaking the star rating.
yes. So.
Well, apparently, I'm pretty sure another New Japan show broke the star rating as well, not too long ago. But
Okay.
I'm not sure. I have to do some more research on that. But it's just interesting to see. Interesting to some fun information out there. And oh wait, there's one more big one.
The Attitude Era.
Well, there was also the fact that the match that was scheduled for Alexa Bliss versus Natalia did not happen.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't happen.
I'm not
It was
surprised.
pulled by by the Saudi Arabian government. And it's also just kind of depressing. You see tweets / Instagrams from there. I think them plus Renee took a picture with Mojo Rawley, and it's just kind of depressing to see that they had the outfits that they had to wear legally.
Mm.
Renee could be there.
Mm-hmm.
As a commentator?
Yeah, she was on commentary.
How could she be on commentary but them not have a match with two women?
And probably just didn't show her on the big screen that much.
That's a shame.
She was there for the last event too. And also in other news for Saudi Arabia, they'll try to make sure to go against their, push, try to make a positive image. They're trying to push through an execution of a 13-year-old. There was a 13-year-old who was protesting he was a part of a minority community in Saudi Arabia, and he was attempting to protest the mistreatment of his community, but he was arrested for it, and now they're trying to execute him.
He's a 13-year-old kid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is just abhorrent. Oh man, but yeah.
And he,
And that was the other one that DJ was talking about too, which was
Yeah.
Mick Foley was in an interview and was quoted saying that they will be bringing back elements of the Attitude Era for the third hour on Raw.
Mm-hmm.
It's something to tease people to actually go there because I mean that's been the thing that's been suffering most has been the third hour since people just don't
Really?
stick
Yeah.
around. Yeah.
oh yeah.
It's
Well, they
so
brought
far,
back the 24/7 thing, and I saw it. I was just flipping around. Maybe it was last week or 2 weeks ago.
Mhm.
I'm watching Monday Night Raw, right? Well, the thing that gets me is the 24/7 thing is stupid. Ron's killing, or as we know him, R-Truth, has a match, right? Well, after the match, people come out the back, and all they're doing is chasing him around the stage. I'm like, really?
But it's a comedy belt. It's not meant to be taken seriously. So
I wish it would be like a Money in the Bank contract where it's a Money in the Bank contract for everybody. Whenever I want to wrestle him on the show, this is when I wrestle him. You call him out, he comes in the ring, and we have a match. Not this comedy stunt. Because
so far we've had 4 title changes in the last 2 weeks. R-Truth lost it to Jinder Mahal at a golf course
right,
and won it back.
At
And
the
then he
same
lost
golf
it
course. Then he lost it.
on a plane to Jinder Mahal, and
Well,
he won
first
it
he
back
lost it on the tarmac to Jinder Mahal, then won it
Mhm.
back on the plane.
while Jinder Mahal was sleeping. He
Yeah.
quietly pinned him 1, 2, 3, and then
If you want to see it done well, there's DDT Pro,
mhm.
the heavyweight championship. It has that same concept where they have a lot more zanier stuff.
really, okay.
Yeah, what was it?
Pretty sure a trash can won against somebody.
Well, I believe what happened was someone threw it into the trash can, meaning that the trash can became the new champion.
Mm-hmm.
Then Jack the Jobber from Cultaholic was passing by with, this was back at when they were in What Culture, because they had
Mhm.
one of the Adams from What Culture who was apparently roughing because he had a rough shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And he saw it in the trash, so he took it out, then got his friend to count the pin as he pinned the trash can to win, then rounded the corner where he went and ran into Joey Ryan. He demanded him to let him pin him so that Joey Ryan can win it back.
What?
Yeah.
Now that we're talking about the Attitude Era, y'all know more about the Attitude Era than I do. What elements do you think they would either bring back or you would like to see come back?
The good elements from there was just the concept of booking that had a lot for everyone, where a whole bunch of people had storylines. That was the best thing to actually come from it
Oh wow. Okay.
in a real pod, and the best thing to pull from it. But they're probably not going to do that. They're probably just going to look at the shock pod from it,
Mm-hmm.
which we can just hope that it doesn't have too much damage to the women's division. That's all we can hope for.
You don't think the women's division will be in it, or?
Well, it's just the women's division was pretty trash during the Attitude Era.
Mm.
They only
There's
had
basically like 2 real women who actually had the talent in ring.
no. To be fair, they had other women too, like say Ivory or Jazz. They
Well, I was definitely talking about Ivory because she was usually always the champion, and then
Oh.
China. They were the only 2 that were really.
well, then you
prominent.
also had Trish Stratus and Lita
Mhm.
that was in it too.
That was both.
They-
I think they didn't really get their prominence though until the Ruthless Aggression era.
I mean, it's arguable, I guess, but
Mhm.
yeah, but there wasn't much, and a real problem was just that it went down to a lot of mud wrestling matches or brawn
Mhm.
panty matches and stuff. You're not gonna be able to bring that back because it won't go over with the sponsors.
Yeah, especially since they're trying to be a lot more kid friendly these days.
That's why I'm surprised they're bringing it back to begin with. But
It has no real clue what they mean by the concept of bringing back elements. We would just have to wait and see.
Yeah. Another thing, even though there was more in the Ruthless Aggression era, the concept of blood or blading I don't see that coming back anytime
No.
soon. The only time anyone ever actually draws blood is when Brock Lesnar comes up to Vince and is like, "Hey, I want blood in this match," and it gets okayed. That's the only time it really ever happens, unless it happens accidentally hard way. So yeah, it's just a lot of.
To be fair, that really helped make the match.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it.
I mean, it made it so much more brutal with Cody and Dustin.
Yeah, well, I was saying back to reference Randy Orton versus Brock Lesnar.
Mm-hmm.
At least it was giving people something to talk about.
And then also Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns a couple WrestleManias ago. That was also really
when it was in
intense.
New Orleans, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody was paying attention to the match, really.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. But
Yeah, so it's just a wait and see, or a wait and then read about it on other things to do it and watch it.
probably not. If it gets good, I might watch the third hour maybe, but it's just I don't know. So we're gonna talk about what we've seen in WWE or wrestling this week.
Yeah, we can move on. There's one more thing I wanted to mention, but my brain isn't coming up with it right now, which is really bloody frustrating. But until then, we're gonna talk about.
Well, there's also the fact that John Moxley called out Triple H and his buying up of all the independents. About how he doesn't like that and believe that the independent scene is good for developing of talent.
Yeah.
Wait, Triple H bought all of them?
No, he's just trying to expand and buy them all and grab all of the talents. I mean, we've kind of been talking about that, but it's like every month or so they're just grabbing a whole bunch of new talent. They just recently did a tryout for UK.
Okay.
Talents. I don't know many who were in there. I know Sessions Moth was in it, which would be an odd choice considering so much of the character is based around concepts of drinking beer and twerking. And I believe her character has 40 children.
Oh my goodness. The one thing I want to point out is off topic. New Japan Pro Wrestling has little bitty evil sides that light up. I think we're gonna go to Dallas in July just so that way I can get one of those because that's awesome.
Either that or save up money for Wrestle Kingdom.
Ooh.
Now you see that they had
It's coming
2 weeks ago.
2-day event.
They had someone selling. It was a few weeks ago, so I don't remember. But they had someone selling ticket packages.
Ooh. Okay.
They'll get the flights from it was a few major cities like say LA, New York, but they go from flights from there to Tokyo, 5-day stay at a hotel that's like they said
a lot of
walking
money.
distance from the stadium, and the tickets in the lower bowl section of it for both days.
And how much did they say the package was?
Over 1,000 at least.
Yeah, it was like close to 2,000.
Ooh. No, thank you. Alright, so
but anyway, there was one thing that happened inside the WWE I wanted to mention, but I don't remember. My brain isn't working.
So then,
So we're gonna move on to we're moving on to the best segment of the week. It's where we talk about what we thought was the best segment of the week. We'll start off with you, DJ.
I guess the best segment of the week. I don't know. I guess it's a short one. The John Moxley match. Seeing John Moxley. I was watching that match, and then I was watching Double or Nothing this week, and on YouTube I saw the end of the match and of my favorite match, which is Chris Jericho and what was his name?
Kenny Omega.
Kenny Omega, and John Moxley's gonna be awesome. It just shows you how much WWE does not really care about their characters and what they can do well, because John Moxley is so good at this nasty, fast tempo fighting. It's just awesome. My favorite style of wrestling is that fast paced. I know it can be a little dangerous at times, but it is fun to watch. And it was that match at Dominion, and then when he debuted at AEW was phenomenal. He might not be champion too long in Dominion. Spoiler alert, sorry. But I know in AEW he'll be champion soon enough, and yeah, that's mine. Whoever wants to go next.
I would say it wouldn't be spoilers because he's still champion.
Who?
Moxley.
No, I know. I'm just saying. I don't know. Okay. And Dominion happened already, so
Yeah.
that's true.
I don't even know if the title was on the line for that one, yeah. My favorite of this week would have to go to the Best of the Super Juniors final between
Shingo Takagi.
The Shingo Takagi, somehow I was blanking on that, and Will Ospreay.
Mm-hmm.
This was a really great matchup. Had a nice slower start to get into a nice strong build. A lot of back and forth there. Both guys giving their all. Really, barely getting through because of how much damage they would be taking. But it was a really great matchup. And a really great Best of the Super Juniors as well.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna do two. One is kind of a joke. The other one is actually a real thing. The joke is Orange Cassidy versus Gentleman Jarvis. It was nothing but comedy, and we don't really get to see a lot of comedy wrestling. And whenever I'm able to, I like to take the time and check it out. It had all the spots you'd ever need. Someone using a pillow as a steel chair, and the other guy selling it as if it's a steel chair, which is funny. Rocking someone to sleep, and just a lot of ridiculous wrestling. But also, just like 5 minutes ago, while on podcast, since we're watching Dominion as well, I got to see Tomohiro Ishii versus Taichi. And that was a really fun match.
Mm-hmm.
It was really, really good. This match that's going on right now as we speak, God, Girls of Destiny versus Evil and Sonata is probably going to be my favorite because I love Evil and Sonata. LIJ for life. But yeah, that one was really hard hitting. Taichi had a lot of moments where I was like, oh my gosh, she might actually win and keep the title. Ishii hit like a massive headbutt that made Taichi just collapse, which was cool. And Taichi is your new never open weight champion. It was a lot of cool wrestling in there. It was fun, and he's probably excited since Ishii is his favorite. So he's the champion once again, which is cool. But yeah, a lot of fun stuff here. Moving on to the next segment.
Yep.
Are you serious, WWE? It's still back. It's when we talk about just the negative things about WWE. We each go one by one. Liam, you get to start this one off.
I'll go and say I'm disappointed with the 24/7 rule and the 24/7 championship. 24/7 championship. I think it has not gone into play enough time. just realistically, like you have the instance that they were on a plane for, I would assume, a long time, since they're going all the way to Saudi Arabia. They really could have had like 40 champions in that amount of time, realistically. It didn't even really make sense. Like, Ginger was champion and was sleeping, then R-Truth came in and pinned him, and then everyone else chased R-Truth. Why weren't they going after Ginger then?
Right.
It's like sometimes people want it, sometimes people don't want it, and it seems like Jinder Mahal and R-Truth are the only ones who actually care about the championship right now. And no one else does it. It really should have had, you know.
Oh, and apparently Drake Maverick loves it too.
From afar, at least.
Yeah.
Because he apparently can't find R-Truth, even though R-Truth is in the same spot every Monday and possibly Tuesday as well. But yeah, it does make sense. You really could do a lot more comedic things, and more than just wacky locations that don't really even make sense. I don't know why R-Truth doesn't seem like a golfer to me. I think it would have been even funnier. Thought it would be funnier if it was at like a miniature golf course, because that would seem more R-Truth to me instead of being in like an actual golf course. But yeah, it's very disappointing that they're not really going in depth to it. So I want to see a better, better overall usage of the 24/7 rule to make it more comical. Maybe even to the stuff we said about DDT Pro, because they're still all out for it. Don't pull back with it.
Yeah, my rant is gonna. We talked about it, and I want to rant about it. I'm sick and tired of the legends. I'm done. It's time to build new stars and make new legends, because right now that's not what you're doing. It's frustrating. It's ridiculous. Yeah, the wrestling fans know who Seth Rollins is, Roman Reigns is, Jinder Mahal is, but if you try talking to people outside of the wrestling community, they know who The Rock is, they know who Stone Cold Steve Austin is. They don't really know anybody currently wrestling, and that's a problem. You're not going to be able to get the views you want. You're not going to be able to get the popularity you want if you aren't building up stars, bringing people to be like, wow, that's a person I want to watch week in, week out. And it's obvious that something's not working here, and that needs to change. And always bringing back your names from the 80s and the 90s and the early thousands, that all that's going to do is just isolate the newer talent. And we see what isolating the newer talent is doing. It's ruining the product big time. We have so many opportunities to make really big stars. Look at Velveteen Dream. He's actually growing to become this massive person for the NXT brand, where people can just identify at least the name right now. We need that on the main roster, or it's never going to get better. And by bringing in the older guys, it's stunting the growth of the younger guys, as well as just doing a lot of harm for these older guys.
You mean younger guys?
No, for the older guys, like physical harm.
Oh yeah.
We almost watched 2 people die because they're just not up to par with what they were able to do years ago, and that is a massive problem. Yeah, that's my rant.
Now I'm gonna go off yours a little bit. I don't mind having the older guys there, the ones that can wrestle, like a Randy Orton, like a John Cena, to help out the younger guys, like the ones that really don't, maybe for the first few matches, you wrestle them against older talent for them to get the feel of being. I know they're in NXT. I know they know how to wrestle, but this is the big time. You have bigger crowds when you go to SmackDown and Raw, and then when you go to the pay-per-views, it's even bigger. So, to your point, I do agree where WWE should. I mean, that's basically why I don't watch Raw. Raw is almost to the point where Raw and SmackDown is almost to the point where you can guess who's going to win.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I haven't been champion yet, but it's like, even for the pay-per-views, it's like, this guy's going to win. Loyal Cena wins. Loyal Roman Reigns wins. Every now and then I'll get lucky and Carmella wins twice in a row in 2 pay-per-views. You know, it's aggravating because all you're doing is jobbing out new talent, basically. You're using the new talent to not win a match. I mean, I saw a meme with Triple H's straight face, which is his mean face, and he put Finn Balor. Who would have, in the Money in the Bank match, he had Finn Balor. Who were the other 2 NXT guys? He had Ricochet, and then he had one other guy, I can't think of the name, but you have all this good talent that are young to win the Money in the Bank title, to maybe somebody start, or at least make storylines, which they didn't even do that. But then you bring in Brock Lesnar, who wasn't even in the match. It's just...
Well, I think everyone except for Randy Orton and Mustafa Ali was a part of NXT at a time. Drew McIntyre was,
Mm-hmm.
Baron Corbin was.
Right.
And then the other 2 were the 2 you
Well, what are they
mentioned
even doing with
as
those
well.
2 guys?
Right now,
Not
Drew
much.
McIntyre is Shane McMahon's lapdog.
You see what I'm saying? It's... But you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
People don't want to leave NXT. And that's sad. I mean, you're not even going to have younger... If WWE doesn't start using the younger talent, I think in about 5 or 6 years, it's going to be... You might not have any WWE left. It's just going to be stupid. Somebody told me when I went bowling Thursday night, he said the best thing for Raw right now is the Bray Wyatt thing. That's how stupid he thinks Raw has gotten. And I kind of do agree with him. The Funhouse thing is pretty good.
Fair, the Funhouse is really good.
It is.
The Firehouse Funhouse is fun.
That's the best thing they've ever done.
And I think it's because the Vince isn't working on it.
Oh, shouldn't that wake his little big head up? I mean, I'll never watch Raw or SmackDown again unless I have to if I want to go back to doing the SmackDown videos. But that's why everybody's going to SmackDown, because SmackDown has better talent. And they're using the talent better too. Like, I would rather have 3 WWE shows a week that are 2 hours long, that are like SmackDown, where you have smaller rosters and you have better talent. I mean, you don't even need better talent. You could use the 2 shows could be combined into 3 2-hour shows, and WWE would be so much better. Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays. Or Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And you have a show from 6 to 9, or 6 to 8. NXT comes on from 8 to 9. I mean, it would be perfect. SmackDown's going to get moved to Fridays in September, right? You have a show on Wednesday. Monday you have Raw for 2 hours. I mean, unless you can make this thing work for the 3rd hour, then yeah, but so many people are leaving the 3rd hour because you don't need 3 hours, like East has always said. That's one reason why we don't do the videos for Raw anymore, or for any of them, because it's just...
It's too much time in wrestling, and we have to make money.
Yeah, right. So, I'm done. I could say a lot more, but we need to move on, so...
Yeah. next time, here we go. It's time to have fun because that was depressing.
Yeah.
Let's book it ourselves.
Alright.
This is a segment where we take a subject and, well, we book it ourselves. And let's see. What do we want to book? Let's book. Let's each book who we think should be the first feud for the new Bray Wyatt and the Fiend. Who wants to go first?
Well, what is? I haven't seen Bray Wyatt's thing. What is he? A heel or a face?
Neither yet.
Okay. Alright, so I guess I'll go. I haven't really seen it, but the first video I did see was to me it was kind of stupid. I didn't like it at first. But now that I'm hearing a little more about it, he was always good as a heel. I liked him as a heel when he was the Bray Wyatt with Roman and Harper. Rowan and Harper, sorry. But I don't know who his first feud I would like to see. Like, you see, this would be the instance where you take an older guy like a Bray Wyatt and maybe a Ricochet or somebody, or Aleister Black or somebody from the NXT that got moved up and wrestle him. Just to show off the talent of the NXT guy so people will know him better. If you don't already know who he is. That's just me. And he goes heel or face depending on who he faces.
So we'll book his first feud. Who is it? You get to choose.
It depends.
You get to choose. It's your.
I guess I'm gonna like him as a face because it's more of a funny thing. What he's doing, to me, it's more of a comical thing. So maybe Aleister Black's a heel, right? I mean, you could use Aleister Black. I would say you could use anybody. I would like to see Ricochet, maybe as a heel. That could work because I do like the high flying stuff he does.
So who wins out in the feud ultimately? Ricochet. Ricochet.
Yeah, because just to make him look good, kind of thing, and he could show off his talent to people that don't know him, and that's how you start my thing of using older talent to help out the younger talent. And every now and then the older talent wins. I mean, you probably go 3 matches with Bray Wyatt winning one of them, per se, but just that's how we do it. I mean, it shouldn't take 11 years for somebody to win a title like Kofi Kingston. But,
Alright, how about yours, Liam? How would you book the new Bray Wyatt? Who is his first feud with?
His first feud will be against Kofi Kingston. Because of the Firefly House imagery can kind of interact with the New Day's imagery. It kind of makes sense. Man, I'm trying to think. I probably can't do this, but I'm gonna do it anyways. You can have one of the setups for it. You have like Firefly Funhouse. They have like a unicorn pinata, and it like pushes it open, and a whole bunch of like guts and intros pop out of it. So like super dark and creepy. Gotta take it to the next level here.
I mean, why not?
They should get the "Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared" guys to come produce this stuff. I mean, it's clearly the kind of stuff that they're going for.
Oh, 100%.
And you really just have it by him attacking Xavier Woods with it, and you're going after him.
And I'd bring back to some more. It'd be a lot of callbacks.
Yeah, to Xavier Woods' problems with Bray Wyatt. But you just have him first face Xavier Woods, then kidnap Xavier Woods. Hold him and have him like manipulate him. And by the time Kofi Kingston and maybe Biggie, if he's back by that point, find Xavier Woods, he thinks that he's now the character. Like
Mm-hmm.
they'll make him a character on the show, and like they'll get him back, but Kofi Kingston and Bray Wyatt have a match together, and Xavier Woods turns on him because he now believes that he is the new character in that show, and they have to try to fight for the very soul and mind of Xavier Woods in this situation to win him back over to help Kofi Kingston beat Bray Wyatt in the end. But I do see Bray Wyatt temporarily winning the championship from Kofi Kingston in this feud.
Mm-hmm.
But Kofi Kingston to win out at the end.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Mm-hmm.
Mine would be someone who can easily afford to take the loss.
Anyone but Shane.
It'd be Rey Mysterio. Someone who can easily someone with that much credit and that much legendary status that can put this new gimmick over would easily be either him or Matt Hardy. And I would definitely go Rey Mysterio when he gets healed up and let them get into something. Who is more of a kid-friendly figure than Rey Mysterio? That works so well with the dynamic that they're going for, and I think it'd be a lot of fun. Obviously, Bray Wyatt wins in my first match, which is just a normal match that has all the spooks with the Fiend, and it'd be really interesting, and it'd keep him as a heel for the crowd, but all the smarks are obviously on his side, so it'd be a lot of fun, I think, and a really good dynamic. Yours is really good too, and oh my gosh, just a sec. Ricochet would be really cool as well. See him go against them. Yeah, we'll see what they do when he finally gets to wrestle somebody. All right, now it's our segment. What do you think? Where we take a question and we ask our fellow compadres what do they think. So, DJ, Liam, even though I already know your answer, what do you think of Dominion and New Japan overall?
It's going well. I thought I had some good matches so far. This is a fairly good one here. Just wrapped up of God versus Evil and Sonata.
Yeah, it's not a bad pay-per-view. It started off with the Moxley match, and then you just had this one, which was a really good match. A lot of back and forth, a lot more than what you see in WWE. My typical match is a lot of back and forth, a lot of storytelling.
That's what this match was littered with storytelling.
Oh yeah, and it's good. It's not like a WWE match where you have none of that. Sometimes you do, but most of the time the WWE matches aren't as good as what these have been. It seems like New Japan and AEW do more storytelling in their matches on the pay-per-views than WWE does. You know, New Japan's got something they can work for now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the one guy that came in late to team up with the Bullet Club, right?
Well, they had the guy that was out there with the kendo stick for Bullet Club. Then the guy came out later to stop that guy who was with the team with the other two guys.
Right, and then two can fight at the next show for a one-on-one match. You know, because they were, why'd you do my, you know, so forth and so on. But WWE doesn't do stuff like that. Very rarely do you see that. And you see a pay-per-view.
This is Shibata here. This is the point where they call out, where they bring out Kenta.
Oh, cool. But I do like how it sets up things for next time. And WWE doesn't seem to do that.
Shirt. Is that a proper takeover shirt?
No, that would have had NXT on there, but
okay, that's funny.
Yes.
But
I think the whole thing goes with it. It's like like in a meme format. It's like WWE, we'll release Kenta because we believe he's gonna go to nowhere, not go to New Japan. Kenta goes to New Japan. WWE shocked Pikachu face.
Right.
What's your question, Liam?
My question is, but I guess so far, what's your favorite match? What both of you guys?
It was. I'm actually sticking with mine so far. Taichi and Ishii, only because Lij should have won, and I know it's gonna fuel DJ's fire by saying that.
Why?
Because Lij should have won, and I was able to look underneath the mask. Bushi has Lij hair. So far, every single person has a different color in their hair that is not natural. Sonata does. Bushi, Evil, Shingo has red streaks going down, which is so bloody cool. And I know Takahashi has it, as well as Naito. So
What's Takahashi's second hair color?
I think he also has red at the bottom. And
Maybe it's been a while.
it has. But yeah, so if you want to be Lij, not only do you have to have long hair or longish hair, but it has to have a different color in it. So that's pretty rad. But yeah, because Lij didn't win, even though it was a great match, absolutely loved it. I liked Ishii versus Taichi a lot more, and Ishii winning was a really cool outcome. What was yours?
Lij. The Lij match. I don't
Bullet Club?
go by. I don't know if you do this a lot, Easter, but
I don't, but you accused me of it, so
Sometimes-
that's why I said it.
No, sometimes you do it, but that's fine. If you think somebody should win and you don't like that match because of that, that's your call. But I look at the technicality of the match. I didn't like how one team was outnumbered, but they let it go back and forth. I like how another guy came out for the other team. It was a great match. I don't look at winners. I look at storylines. And the problem I have with WWE is they don't do that. They don't do storylines. They just try to end something or go keep the same storyline. I like how that match had about 3 or 4 storylines in it. You know, you could go so many different ways with that match. And that's what I'm starting to figure out with New Japan, AEW, all of that. It's just, they know how to use storylines so well. It's just like the reference I use when I'm watching football. Alabama knows how to use the talent they have better than LSU's. On paper, they're almost identical for talent, but it's how you use talent. And that's why AEW and New Japan is going to be better always than WWE, in my opinion. But my favorite match was the LJ match. Now my question to y'all is, how bad is WWE going to get in the years to come because of AEW?
They could be forced to turn it around. You never know.
I think.
What do you mean by that?
I think AEW
Just
and
become
the
better.
popularity of New Japan
Mm-hmm.
is going to be a good thing in the long run, and it'll help them clean up their act. However, it won't be happening as long as Vince is the money grubbing guy that he is. So as long as he's in charge, it's still going to be on that decline. However, once he's out, once his hand is forced, it's going to get better. Because we know we have great bookers and great producers in the WWE right now. It's just, like you said, they don't know how to use it, or they're not using it properly.
Right.
Once they start using it properly, that's when it's going to come up. Is that what you basically you're thinking?
Yeah, for the most part. Apparently last night that incident with the a fan in Taya Valkyrie. Mostly just more trash talking stuff. And Taya knocked a beer out of his hand and then he spat on her.
Oh, shit.
So.
Confirmed, he's going to LIJ.
And more people come through with it. And now I'm just starting to feel like they're just doing it because it's women. Because it's like, oh, you can't do that to a woman. It's like, yeah, she also can't slap a beer out of someone's hand. That's assault. Once you do that, it's like she's definitely in the wrong for there. Yeah, you may also be equally wrong, but it definitely seems like you gotta tell someone, it's like, she's not gonna sleep with you just because you're defending her online. I don't know if you've ever seen that meme.
Yeah.
The guy with the little knife sitting at the computer. It's like, maidens I defended on the internet, and all the ticks, and maidens that offered me sex but defending them on the internet, none.
So next segment, our last segment.
It is our last segment.
Oh, then she also reacted to that, talking about all the stuff that happened to her in Mexico, like getting hit with containers.
You're blocking the camera, dude.
Yeah, more DJ Bud in the camera. Like getting hit with like bottles filled with warm liquid.
No question.
So yeah, going, we have him dragging Lee
Just seen a fan mailbag question.
versus Will Ospreay. Maybe we went too early to. Maybe I was too early to ask y'all what's your favorite matches of the night.
Yeah, you probably did.
No, I think there's still 3 more, and one of the matches I'm looking forward to is, I think, the penultimate match, the semi-main event, which is for the IC title, because Naito. But yeah, this one should be really good. I think I already had this spoiled, the outcome, because I was looking up for the third wrestling news out of nowhere. Hey, it's Tanahashi.
I would say that I thought Shingo Takagi should have won the Best of the Super Juniors. Just to help him push forward, and I didn't think Will Ospreay necessarily needed it, but go forward. And it kind of seemed obvious as where this would go. But I thought it would have been obvious with either one really where it would go, but yeah.
But yeah, so here's a really cool question that I've seen circling around. What is your favorite Disney animated movie and your least favorite Disney animated movie from 2000 to the 60s?
What? Toy Story.
From 2000 to 2060?
No, from 1960 to 2000.
Probably should have put it that full range.
I probably should have went that way.
Toy Story.
When was Toy Story?
It was the same.
No, I was saying when was Toy Story?
In 90.
90 something.
I want to say
99?
95.
95? Okay. Toy Story.
Okay, Google. When did Toy Story come out? 95.
Okay, Google, when did Finding Nemo come out?
Okay, Google. When did Finding Nemo come out?
2000.
2003.
Doesn't count then.
Mine is The Lion King. I feel like it has the best.
Oh, that one that has Beyonce in it?
No, heck no. That's not The Lion King. That's a farce.
But it's animated.
Any more questions?
Oh, that was a fast sequence. That was awesome. What was yours?
I like Mulan.
Mulan?
Yeah.
That's a good one. I think that was in the 90s.
Yep.
And they're not gonna have it.
Okay, Google. When was Mulan? 98.
Yep.
So, All right, here we go. And this is how this question.
They're not gonna have it be a musical or live action.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, apparently because China doesn't like musicals.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
So they didn't want to alienate the Chinese market, which would be huge for it. It's probably going to be the most successful one based on that alone.
Mm-hmm. But,
because their market is good, like 10 times bigger than the US.
Yeah.
At least.
Right now, Aladdin is doing really good. But, so here's how this question relates to wrestling. And I felt your naysaying, DJ. I felt it. Your favorite show, huh?
Also, that's a naysay. So what is it?
Yeah. All right. So here we go. Your favorite, the favorite character in that show. Book your favorite match. Like, who would you love to see your favorite character in your favorite movie wrestle IRL? Go. I have a perfect one.
Okay, go.
So obviously the best one who'd be able to move really, really good in that world is Rafiki. Even though he's still old, he still has a lot of moves that we get to see. He's still a baboon. He still can do the flips and stuff. So I'd like to see him versus Will Ospreay. That would be a lot of fun. And then passing the torch of his wisdom to Will Ospreay.
I would say I'd like to see Woody fight just because of what you said, the wisdom part.
Mm-hmm. And who's he up against? He beat any wrestler that's working today.
I'd like to see him up against like a Ricochet, just because he's been around so long. You know, Woody could give tips to Ricochet or any NXT person, really. Just because he's been around so long, so.
Yeah. And
okay,
yours?
I want to see Yao versus Tomohiro Ishii.
Is Yao the big one?
Yao is the short, angry one.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be a good one.
The short, angry one versus Ishii. That's awesome.
2 hours of guys standing in the middle of the ring trading forearms.
He has massive forearms in that movie. Yeah. And y'all were naysaying my question. And you see what you get? You have to be patient, man. Life is all about being patient. Any other questions that circling around that we can answer?
Well, I did hear something. A lot of people are talking about how John Moxley was making comments about WWE. And I guess it's just a question I have. Is, you know, probably other podcasts have probably talked about this. It's like a do you think question, I guess. How much more talent is gonna leave WWE? Like who? Like if you had to pick some guys like the Revival, like when contracts end, how many? Or who do you think will leave and not renew?
Like the Revival is like, I'm at the end of my contract. I'm extending it. Wait, what? We weren't up for injury. You already extended it for the injury ones. What other extension you have? Well, I'm extending it for all the months you haven't been on TV. But you just haven't put us on TV. That's the point. But I got you for life.
You are ours. I can see
Sasha Banks.
The Good Brothers.
Revival.
Sasha Banks.
I agree. She's mentioned.
The Revival. Luke Harper.
Any new NXT stars?
Yeah, Luke Harper goes with his idea of saying today is Sunday. What do you know what that means? And I have no idea what he's been doing. He's just been doing that for weeks now.
What about Rude? Do you think Rude will leave?
He looks like he's ready to leave. EC3 is looking like he's ready to leave again. His pants looks like something out of Power Rangers. It's really interesting.
Well, Ospreay, that's what he's talking about.
Any more questions?
Since Dragon Lee isn't wearing pants. So.
Right. But yeah.
I mean, you say that when we already had a guy who already looks like a Power Ranger in.
Oh my god!
Nice move there.
Wait, what? What just happened?
He's laughing about it now.
He's in pain. That's not laughing.
Oh,
He took it out, dude. Oh my gosh.
and they heard a commentator too.
Well, Dre, we don't want to see these dudes die. Oh my gosh. Does Dragon realize he's not wrestling Takahashi right now? Anyways, yeah.
Backstage after that point, Kota Ibushi, damn, I gotta think of a new one.
But yeah, so out of everyone you've seen so far, who is your favorite person? And this is specifically for you. Who's your favorite person on New Japan? Team person? Who?
My favorite match, the LIJ and those two teams are my favorite so far.
Yeah, and
This match is pretty good,
Will
Will Ospreay, but I haven't seen him do too much yet. Just been a lot of back and forth, like a regular WWE match, but the LIJ match was really good because they went back and forth a lot. It was a long match. The title for the newer title.
What?
The two guys who fought for the newer title.
The never open weight.
Never open weight title. Yeah, sorry, never.
Ishii or Taichi?
Yeah, that was a good match. It was long.
I can definitely see.
It was
if
what a
you
match
watched
should-
a lot more of Tai Chi stuff.
Mhm.
He'd be a fan of Tai Chi, and we also said that you would probably really love Juice Robinson. If,
I like Tai Chi.
if it came down to it, though, if it came down, that was impressive. If it came down to it, I could totally see DJ either going Suzuki-gun or to the Gucci Japan. I don't know which one he'd fully be on board with, or even Bullet Club. He has Bullet Club tendencies in him too.
Ooh.
But yeah,
Anything else?
and I guess the last question is, what do we think Stomping Ground will end up being? Do we think
When
it'll
is
be
Stomping
good
Ground? Can you look up when
in
Stomping
2
Ground?
weeks?
2 weeks?
Mm-hmm. Not
It's-
next Sunday, Sunday after.
It's gonna be alright. They haven't given me anything, because for Money in the Bank, it was really good until Brock Lesnar came out and said, "Oh shit." It was sorry, shouldn't have cursed, sorry, but it was really bad. It was good. I had it as an A, but then I dropped it to a B. I had it as an A plus, but I had to drop it all the way down to a B after that. They haven't done anything bad on the pay-per-views yet, match-wise, storyline-wise, yeah, but the matches have been pretty good. So I can't say it's gonna be bad, but I don't like how they have it so close to the other pay-per-view and the wrestler. Like I've said before, they got too many pay-per-views.
Mm-hmm.
You know, wait a couple more weeks and then put Stomping Grounds on. You know, it doesn't give it enough storyline time from Saudi Arabia to the. You got 2 weeks to come up with storylines. You know, it just doesn't make sense. Liam, what do you think?
It should be pretty fine because they've been doing better with the pay-per-views this year, but that's just gonna have to wait and see. He has a real bad name. I give it that much.
Oh yeah, totally. And I guess they had to change Backlash because of all the backlash they're getting after the Saudi Arabia stuff. Them changing the name was just a PR stunt anyway.
Some other names they were thinking of was Decapitation. Others were Stony. Oh, did you see the
there was
picture from Finn Balor from Saudi Arabia that he made up for Pride Month?
What did he do?
No, he just took a picture of himself like in front of the ring, but he just dedicated it to Pride Month.
Gotcha.
In Saudi Arabia.
No, I totally missed it.
Where he was killed.
Yeah. But
at least WWE is not trying to cash in on Pride Month like other companies are, because that would especially look bad given the their company they're working with, groups they're working with.
Well, I know that
may be the reason why they didn't.
I think 3 of them did go do something for Pride Month though.
They did send some people to the Glad concert.
Yeah, okay, that's what it was. I think Sonya was one of them. There was 2 other dudes. Don't remember the dudes though.
It's pretty small in comparison to everyone else. Everyone's getting rainbows. I don't know if you've seen the. I don't know if you've seen like the meme, but it's like well, there's quite a few of them, but like there's the one that's transformed from the Spider-Man one. You know where he says, "I fancy myself as a scientist too," you know. But it's like every company during Pride Month, I fancy myself a gay too. Like,
I'm sorry, my new
everyone's trying to
my new favorite wrestler is Will Ospreay.
Okay.
We had a feeling.
See, I thought it was going to transform, so that's what I was saying earlier. Will Ospreay's been putting on some match of the year candidate matches this past Best of the Super Juniors.
Right, here's another one.
Yeah, so he's very early on to be a Wrestler of the Year candidate.
Actually, I think both of these guys.
Yeah, both guys are pretty.
Dragon Lee's a beast.
Because I like how they can flip and land on their feet and know when they're supposed to do that. That's just amazing in itself.
They have high body control. Ospreay's just good overall wrestler. One of the best in the world.
Anything else?
That's it for the mailbag questions. And we finally did it, everybody. We finally tricked DJ into watching an entire New Japan show for the most part. We did it. All right.
Hey.
Wolfie kisses.
Wolfie kisses. Mwah.
Yes. Awesome. But anyways, that's it for the show. This week's episode. Next week we'll see what happens.
We'll be on episode 40.
We're 10 away from 50.
Yeah.
Will it be next week? Is it next weekend Father's Day?
Yeah, I won't be here.
The 16th.
Yeah, that's next weekend.
Yeah,
I'm going out of town Friday, so yeah.
Never mind.
So not next
2
week.
weeks.
In 2 weeks we'll have episode 40. But yeah, so it was a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment down below everything that we talked about and your thoughts on everything we talked about. Then after you do that, don't forget to give us those sexy likes.
And the unsexy ones.
And then go over to all of your other socials and share this video and all our videos to your friends.
And enemies.
After you do that, don't forget to hit subscribe so that way you are a part of the Smarky family. And then ring that notification bell because...
So you know when we go live around 1 p.m. Central Time. And we go live for all pay-per-views. And please check out our non-WWE pay-per-views. They seem to get a lot more views. And they are a lot more popular. So if you're not a fan of WWE, we also do non-WWE pay-per-views like we did for AEW. We've gotten over like 160, 70 views. So...
I'm pretty sure it's over 200.
200 now, so there you go. Our WWE pay-per-views are just as good. Just it seems like people like non-WWE a little bit more. So, but please check out WWE as well. Anything else?
259.
Oh wow, almost 260 shit.
You can follow me on Twitter at Liam_SWA.
And follow me at DJC_SEL.
Don't forget to say on. Okay. And follow me also on Twitter at IsaJ_STP. And don't forget to subscribe to our other 2 channels as well. You can find them in the channels tab on our page. And as always, until next time, it will be awesome. See you later, guys.
Bye. It was fun. See you in 2 weeks.
Bye, everyone.